Please, please, somebody help me take it back.
Would you still borrow a book if you knew it could take your life away? Ada was 17, a high school girl with one obsession: books. She read them anywhere. In class, at home, even while walking on the road. Her friends laughed at her. Her teachers praised her. But Ada didn't care. To her, books were life. That Monday morning, a strange silence fell in class. A new girl walked in. Nobody knew her name. She looked out of place. No bag, no pen, no exercise books. Only a single black book in her hands. The book was plain, dark, with no title, no author, no sign of age. Yet it carried a weight that seemed unnatural. Ada's eyes locked on it. She couldn't look away. At break time, Ada walked up to the girl, trying to sound casual. "Hi, I'm Ada. Welcome to our class." The girl raised her head slowly. Her eyes were deep, too deep for a girl her age. Ada smiled nervously and pointed at the book. "I love reading. Can I borrow it? I'll return it when I'm done." The girl stared at her for a long moment, then whispered, "Take it." She slid the book across the desk. Ada's heart leapt. She gripped the book like treasure. That night, after helping her mother at their small shop, Ada sat at her desk and opened the black book. Her smile faded. The pages were blank. Page after page. Nothing. "Maybe it's just a notebook," she muttered. She tossed it aside and continued with her school notes. But close to midnight, something pulled her back to it. She opened it again. Her heart stopped. Words now filled the first page. Literature test. Compare two unreliable narrators. She blinked, then flipped the page. Statistics quiz. Define variance. Calculate variance for this set. Ada's mouth went dry. These were her classes. The exact questions her teachers had hinted at. She slammed the book shut. Her heart raced. She opened it again. The writing was still there. Neat, calm, real. On the bottom of a blank page, she scribbled with shaky hands. "If this is real, write the first line of tomorrow's poem." She closed the book and slid it under her pillow. When the lamp went off, Ada froze. A faint blue glow leaked from the pillow, spreading across the room. It wasn't bright, but it was alive, breathing softly in the dark. Ada pulled her blanket over her head, whispering, "It's just my eyes. It's just my eyes." But deep down she knew it wasn't. The next morning she tore the book open. Under her test line was new writing. "Hope is the thing with feathers." Her stomach dropped. She knew that poem. And in literature class the teacher handed out the test. The first question. Exactly the same. In statistics the numbers matched too. Ada finished early. Her classmates stared. Her teacher nodded in approval. Ada only sat still, trembling inside. That evening after the shop, she opened the book again. New lines formed. "Sell your extra phone case to Blessing for 200. She frowned, checked her drawer and found the case. Just for fun she posted it on her status. Within minutes, Blessing replied, "I'll pay 200. Ada stared at the phone. Another line appeared in the book. "Offer to help Miriam with her CV. Ask for 500. She will agree." Ada messaged Miriam. The reply was instant. "Yes. Please help me. Pay you." Ada's hand shook. The book was real. That night, the glow under her pillow returned. But this time Ada didn't just feel fear. She felt power. The next morning, though, her stomach cramped sharply. She sighed. So early. Her period had started. A whole week before its time. She ignored it. "It's just stress," she told herself. "Exams, that's all." At first, Ada told herself she was fine. But the bleeding did not stop. One day passed. Then 2. Then 7. By the second week, Ada's bed sheets told the truth her lips refused. Every morning, she scrubbed at the stains in secret. Every night, she lay awake, clutching her stomach, the book glowing blue beside her. At school, whispers followed her pale face. "She looks sick. Ghost girl." Ada forced a smile. She acted strong. She answered every test perfectly. Teachers praised her brilliance. At home, her mother's shop began to rise. Ada always knew when to buy, when to sell. Customers came in more. Money flowed. "You are so wise, Ada," her mother said proudly. "God is really with you." Ada forced a smile, but inside she shook. She knew it wasn't God. By the third week she could hardly stand. In class, she hid her shaking hands under the desk. In the shop, she leaned on shelves when her knees buckled. Still she kept reading the book, terrified to stop. One afternoon, she looked for the new girl to return the book. The girl was gone. She hadn't been back since the first day. Ada asked her desk mate, "Where's the new girl?" "The one with the black book." Her desk mate frowned. "What new girl?" Nobody new came this term. Ada's heart froze. She asked the teacher. The teacher shook her head. No new student was added. That night, Ada opened the book to the last pages. First they were blank. Then pale words rose like smoke. Her hand shook as she read. "Every gift here is paid for. The payment is blood. As long as she takes, the flow will not end. When empty, the reader ends." Ada dropped the book, her breath coming in gasps. She clutched her stomach, feeling the cramps sharper than ever. Tears rolled down her face. The next morning, her mother stopped her at the door. "Ada, you're not well. Your lips are pale. Your eyes, you're weak. We're going to the hospital." At the clinic they ran tests, checked her blood, looked her over. "She's fine," the nurse said. "Just stress. Maybe hormones." Her mother frowned. "No, this is not normal." That night Ada broke. She cried in her mother's lap and told her everything. The strange girl, the book, the answers, the money, the blood. Her mother stared in horror as Ada placed the glowing book on the table. The blue light filled the room. "We must go to Pastor Ruth," her mother whispered. "Tomorrow." Ada nodded, trembling. For the first time she admitted it out loud. "Mama, I think I'm dying." The streets were loud that morning, but Ada and her mother walked in silence. Ada's steps were slow, her face pale, her hands trembling as she clutched the book wrapped in cloth. Even hidden, the glow seeped through, faint blue lines spreading across the fabric like veins of fire. Passers-by turned to stare. Some whispered. Others stepped aside, afraid. Her mother held her close. "Hold on, my child," she whispered. "Just a little longer." When they reached the church, the door creaked open as though it had been waiting. Inside, Pastor Ruth stood tall, a strong African woman with fire in her eyes and faith in her voice. She looked at the bundle in Ada's arms and frowned. "Place it here," she commanded, pointing at the desk. Ada obeyed. The moment the cloth slipped off, the office flooded with blue light. The book glowed like a living thing. Ada's mother gasped. Ada trembled. "Tell me everything," Pastor Ruth said. With a breaking voice, Ada confessed. The strange new girl with no bag, the borrowed book, the glowing pages, the answers in her tests, the sudden money. Her voice shook as she whispered the last words. "And the bleeding. It will not stop. I am dying inside." Her mother wept. Pastor Ruth leaned forward. "Child, this is no ordinary book. Gives, but it takes more. Today we end it." She pulled a sheet of paper from her drawer and slid it to Ada. "Write these words. I borrowed what was not mine. I return it. I break every agreement. I choose truth, work, and faith. I close this door." Ada's hand shook violently as she wrote. Each stroke felt like her veins were on fire. When she placed the note on the final page of the book, the glow roared like lightning. The book rattled, pages flipping wildly as though a storm raged inside. Ada screamed, clutching her stomach. Blood rushed faster than ever. She collapsed to the floor. Her mother tried to lift her, but Ada's body convulsed in her arms. Pastor Ruth slammed her hand on the book. "You cannot have her," she thundered. "She belongs to God." The glow burst into the room like an explosion, painting the walls blue. Papers flew, curtains whipped in the wind, though every window was shut. Ada gasped for breath, her lips turning pale, her hands clawing at her chest. Her mother cried out, "Jesus! Save my child!" Pastor Ruth's voice rose like a trumpet. "Leave her. Your price is rejected. By the blood of Christ, she is free." The book screamed, not with a voice but with a sound like metal tearing. Then suddenly silence. The glow snapped out. The book lay still, smoke curling faintly from its pages. Ada collapsed, soaked in sweat, chest rising and falling in shallow gasps. For a moment no one moved. Then Ada opened her eyes, weak but alive. Tears rolled down her mother's cheeks as she hugged her. "It is finished," Pastor Ruth whispered. "Now return it." That afternoon, Ada and her mother walked to the schoolyard. They placed the book on the same bench where Ada had first seen the strange girl. The sun beat down, hot and bright, swallowing every shadow. They turned to leave. But something made Ada glance back. The bench was empty. The book was gone. That night, Ada lay in her bed. No glow under her pillow, no pain in her body. The bleeding slowed, then stopped. Day by day, her strength returned. Weeks later, she sat at her desk with her real schoolbooks. They were plain. They did not glow. But they were hers. And they were enough. One afternoon, Ada passed the same bench again. A younger student stood near it, searching curiously as though expecting something. Ada's heart froze. She rushed forward, but there was nothing there. Only a torn magazine. Ada let out a shaky breath and whispered, "Not every book is meant to be read." We live in a world where people want everything quickly. Quick money, quick answers, quick success. That is why so many borrow things they should not, chase what does not belong to them, or trust gifts that are not safe. But Ada's story reminds us, whatever you borrow, you must